Welcome to On Point Live. I'm Michael Horn. The star of our programs are right here, right now. We have these every week. Podcast, TV show, a radio show. We've got them all. We have two stars from the Los Angeles Rams, Jackie Slater and Vince Ferragamo, and we sort of battle the odds this week and see how things are going. How you gentlemen doing this week? Guys, getting ready for the holidays, are you?
Oh, yes. Oh, definitely.
A little shopping.
A lot of activity around the house going on.
A lot of activity.
Decorating and trees and lights.
Jackie's pounding on the table over here. He's got a lot to talk about, you can tell. Let me say one thing. When we start this show, by the way, On Point Live, I noticed that our producer, Corey, gives you guys water and everything. I got to get my own cup of coffee. I brought something this week that I'm going to be drinking during the show. It's Vince Ferragamo Vineyards, and this is the Carissa J. Super Tuscan. So I'll be having a little bit of that there with coffee.
That's my 2020, by the way, and it's one of the
Drink your water. I got the
best
wine.
Vintages we've had.
That's one of my favorites right there.
No, people want to get your wine, by the way. Vince does.
We
this
have
is
a
an
contest,
excellent
right,
wine.
Michael? We have a contest.
Tell
People
them
can
about
join
it.
us. Well,
Yeah.
you can join us.
Enter.
Email us at onpoint. What's our email address?
onpoint@crntalk.com. That's our. All you got to do is send your name and your address in, and then we're going to have a drawing for Harmony Cheese. It's a cheese pack with Vince's wine, and this is a Super Tuscan blend. This has got the good Italian varietals in here. It is absolutely delicious. You grow this at your property, right?
Grown right on our own property there, Mike, on 1 acre there in Orange Park Acres, and we're real proud of it. It's a signature wine. It's a family favorite, and we invite all the guests over. We need to invite you over some night, Michael.
Yeah,
Mike,
invitation.
that 2020 bottle there.
You know about this, don't you?
I may have been a part of the harvesting group for that particular
That's what I've heard. If you go to Vince's house, you pick the grapes. It's a fun thing, actually. And by the way, when Jackie taps like this, I'm going to go, I got a bottle of wine right now to use on this thing. It's kind of good. All right. So we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Let's tell you about this. Our website, onpointlive.net. You want to go there and check things out. Also, our YouTube channel, subscribe to it. It's On Point Live with Vince and Jackie. We got our Instagram, on.point.live. Don't forget our sponsor, Harmony Cheese. Great cheese packs. You like the Albergelli, don't you, Jackie?
Love it.
It's harmonycheese.com, HARMONY, harmonycheese.com. It's on your screen. And email us, ladies and gentlemen, onpoint@crntalk.com. Enter our contest to get a cheese and wine package. We got good stuff here for you. All right, we got to talk about the Rams, talk about the football playoff picture. We got a lot of things to talk about. We might even mention Juan Soto, so stay with us. On Point Live, we'll be right back. Welcome back. On Point Live every week at this time on this radio station around the country. Our flagship, 790 KBC in Los Angeles. We've also got ourselves on Sports Byline at crntalk.com. And don't forget, you can check out our podcast. Go to onpointlive.net and go to our YouTube channel. Subscribe to it, please. On Point Live with Vince and Jackie. I'm Michael Horn, Jackie Slater, Vince Ferragamo. Let's get into it. Vince, you were at the Buffalo Bills game. You kick it off here.
I went to SoFi Stadium thanks to Joe and Sharon Hernandez with Melissa's. They were so kind and gracious to give us a seat there. And we went down on the field as we videotaped you guys a little bit and watched the Rams warming up and watched the Bills. But, the Rams were ready for this game. I just thought the Bills were flat. They flew in on Saturday night. So, they had jet lag, Jackie. They weren't ready. They were sleepwalking out on the field. It just seems like they weren't up to speed, and they played it during the game. But what a great game it was. If you were a Rams fan or football fan, you saw a lot of points, no turnovers.
But back up a second, though.
Sacks.
You guys played. You're saying that Buffalo, 0 degrees. You did a little post on Instagram, on.point.live, and you said it was a good thing they were playing it in Los Angeles because it was 0 degrees in Buffalo, right?
Close to it, probably.
You say they flew out over 3,000 miles from Buffalo to Los Angeles. No sleep, no nothing. And
they.
But you could say they were sleepwalking. Did they look alert? Were they practicing? Were they?
They weren't. To me, they were just going through the motions, Mike. And this is a game of preparation. And I thought the Rams were really prepared. I'm watching Jared Verse and Byron Young on the sideline getting ready for this game. They were up. These guys were all up. And I think the preparation that they had, they came out full bore. It's not a one-man game, Jackie. As good as Josh Allen played, this was the highest scoring game in the whole season. season this year. 44-42. The Rams were victorious, and they've won 6 out of the last 8 games. They started slow this year, but Jack, we have our own reasons why that's happened, and now the Rams are playing good football.
Well, the Rams are playing really good football, and I know, Vince, it used to be an advantage for us when we went to the East Coast to leave on a Friday, get there Friday night, get acclimated on Saturday, and it was said that a lot of the teams from the East Coast coming to the West Coast didn't have to leave as early because they were already going to be way ahead. Well, that 3 hours difference can make a big, in my opinion, can make a difference as well. But when I looked at that game, when I watched this game, what I saw was a very, very unique and special game plan that Sean McVay put together to get back to where he needed to be, to get this team back to the winning team and the winning ways that they've had. And it was centered around the use of their healthy 2 offensive tackles, Alaric Jackson and then Rob Havenstein, and then also a constant injection of Karen Williams and Blake Corum, those 2 backs in the running game. And by the way, Vince, those 2 running backs they're like 5, 8, and 5. Now, little guys, little bitty guys.
But they hit the hole. They hit the hole and sliver right through
Maurice Jones-Drew size guys, little guys that can change direction quick in there amongst all those 6, 8 offensive linemen that the Rams have. And I thought they did a fabulous job. I thought McVay was perfect. I think McVay and his quarterback are right here.
Yeah.
Matthew Stafford, they're right there on the same page with
you,
everything
Jack,
that they do. It was a beautiful thing to watch.
And I was down there with the Bills Mafia, and I recognize a few faces from back when. But I tell you, they were a little ticked. I don't think they can have. They're gonna talk to Josh Allen and say, "My boy Josh, you got to get around to it." But it's not Josh Allen. He is a one-man show. He had a great game. The only quarterback in history to throw 3 touchdowns and rush for 3 touchdowns
in
a game.
It was impressive.
It was an impressive game, but it's a team game. But Sean McDermott, I just think a lot of it falls back on him. But he's done such a great job. I mean, he's one of the few coaches, Jackie, in NFL history, along with some of the best in the business, to start off 5 last seasons winning 11 games every year.
That's impressive.
Bill Belichick, Tom Landry, who else? Andy Reid.
Yes. Yeah. But the big question is, what have you done for me lately?
Well, that's it.
And he didn't do it. If you look, Vince, they had 21 yards rushing. Where is the game planning and coming into Los Angeles thinking you're going to beat the Rams, who gave up all of the yardage that they did to Philadelphia and the league rushing leader a couple of weeks ago, and you come in and you get 21 yards rushing? Yeah. That tells me that you're perhaps a little bit arrogant about what your quarterback is capable of doing. You showed him off. He did the things that he's capable of doing, but it wasn't good enough to win the game.
Yeah, you know what? Jack, in time of possession was a big turnover. I mean, that was 17 more minutes.
Unbelievable.
Controlling the football by the Rams over the Buffalo Bills, and that was a big difference. But you can't come into SoFi Stadium and play the Rams thinking you're going to get the calls, okay? You're just not going to get the calls. You got to beat them outright.
You got to beat them outright.
And, their defensive ploy, Jackie, there was no pressure on the quarterback. The Rams love to bootleg, and I don't know, for football players out there, quarterback fakes one way and bootlegs, runs the opposite direction. Their defensive ends were coming down the line of scrimmage instead of coming up the field like the 49ers play against the Rams.
And keeping them boxed in.
And they keep them boxed in. And he had all day. And plus, when he sits in the pocket, he got great pass protection.
He did.
No threat at all for the defense. At one time, I think he was pressured the whole entire game, Jackie. And I would be remiss if I didn't talk about Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. And then Kyron Williams. You mentioned his running. I love the way high steps in the end zone. We got to see more of that.
Yeah,
that's awesome. But
that's a lot of that's practical too, because as you cross the goal line, if you look at it, there are a lot of defenders trying to get to your lower body to keep you from getting in the end zone. So he's doing that in being smart about his health too.
Yeah.
But you mentioned the running game. But Sean McVay, everybody thinks that this guy is want to be heaving the ball all over the place. And I do admit, when I think back, I've seen a couple of times where I thought he was a little aggressive with throwing the football, especially inside the 20. But I think Sean McVay realizes now that his bread and butter is going to have to be what he does on the ground. They are going to have to run the football. If you look at all the success this guy's had, it hasn't been centered around a great quarterback, even like Matthew Stafford. It has been centered around his offensive line and their ability to run the football. and that's what they kind of
All
got
right,
back to.
A couple of points I got to make here. First off, you, Vince, said you can't come to town and think you're going to get the calls. What do you mean by that?
I would like to know. What
expand.
All right, okay, just
Are
ask
you
Amari
saying that
Cooper.
somebody's
Hold on a
hand-
second. Okay, you guys watched the game. I was there at the game. I saw some great plays, but I also saw some foul-ups with the referees, and we've seen this consistently through the NFL this year, Jackie.
This year, a lot of foul-ups.
Okay, a lot of no calls. Okay, Amari Cooper's running down the field, and someone's pulling his jersey the last 5 yards of the route when the ball's in the air, trying to throw the ball to him. There was no foul. Okay, that's pretty obvious. Okay, there was another play at the end of the game. Okay, with Puka Nacua running a slant route, he dropped the ball. They didn't complete the pass. Then there comes a late flag.
A late flag.
Now, why is that?
That's the
what's
call
purpose?
you're talking
Okay.
about.
Well, it's another call. I mean, there's a lot of instances in the game, you know.
You've
Sean
watched the
McVay.
games. Yeah.
I mean, I think there's a limitation of how far you can run up and down the field, I think.
How far does
32 yards,
Well,
but
I think that
I've seen him a
limitation-
couple times down the goal line.
Vince, that limitation is based on your individual abilities.
Well, he
to
can run down the field, but I can
He's in great shape, so he can run all up and down the field.
Jackie, you've been talking about rushing is coming back. It's with the coaches, too.
It starts with the coaches.
At that 1 yard line and back at the 32 before you can
too
even
much
blink.
fun.
It starts with the coaches.
Our producer, Corey, says he watches, and I'm going to start watching now. And there's a guy that will grab him back because he's got his foot on the field when the play's going
The
to
get
start.
back coach. Yeah, everybody has a get back coach.
Okay, so that's the first one. Now, you fans out there that have your fantasy football things, your handicap and stuff like that, I'm saying you always look at who's rushing, how many passes are going on. Look at the coach. You guys are talking about from the top down here. You're talking about Sean McVay, other coaches that get their team together, put that spirit into the quarterback. The quarterback infuses the team with it. That's a big part of it. You guys played. Is that true?
You know what,
Jackie?
I'm going to interrupt because I know what Vince is going to
Jackie
say.
Slater,
we
everybody.
had these conversations time and time again. But when I look at Sean McVay and I look at Matthew Stafford, I see a cohesiveness that's really, really unique. In fact, I've told Vince this, I believe that the quarterback and Cooper Kupp, I believe that all of those guys are capable of being offensive coordinators in the National Football League right now, based on what they know. And how they put their offense together.
Vince, 30 seconds to respond to that.
We'll give you our assessment on all these coaches coming up in the next segment.
Oh, you're going to
because
pass it to the break?
There are so
A lot
many
of
good
good
coaches out
Harmony
there right
cheese
now.
time?
And a lot of them are, like Jackie says, derivatives of the Sean McVay passing.
Don't forget, enter our contest. You get a cheese pack with Vince Ferragamo's wine, and you go and you just give us your name and your address, your phone number, contact information on point at crntalk.com. On point at crntalk.com. Enter right now during this break. We'll be right back. We are back on Point Live. That's our radio show. It becomes a podcast and a video podcast and a TV show as well. Just stay with us here. Jackie Slater, Vince Ferragamo, I'm Michael Horn. But I'll tell you, the website, go to that, onpointlive.net. Point, P-O-I-N-T, live, L-I-V-E.net. YouTube channel, subscribe to it, please. It's On Point Live with Vince and Jackie. Follow us on Instagram, on.point.live. Our sponsor is HarmonyCheese.com. And let me tell you, Harmony Cheese and Vince Ferragamo and Jackie Slater have gotten together. They're putting together these cheese packs. Now, first off, Jackie, you have become a Harmony Cheese fanatic. You go to stores and ask for it. Well, connoisseur. I call it
Connoisseur of the
fanatic.
fine art of dining on cheese.
Okay, connoisseur. We'll go with that. And I've seen your refrigerator. Are we ever going to play that video again that he posted there? We got to put it on Instagram, where you actually, it seems like you almost worship the cheese and at your house. It looks
I
like
just organize it. That's all I did.
it looks like a supermarket, like a superstore, where it's all the cheese is laid out. It looks like there's lettuce laying in the background. You got everything there.
He's organizing his cheese. I'm organizing my wine bottles.
Yes, so
Yeah, just like he organizes his wine, I organize my cheese.
Vince has got his wine there. It's Vince Ferragamo Vineyards. This is good. What's the website here?
That's VinceFerragamoVineyards.com. Okay. So you can go ahead and subscribe or if you want some wine, become
Limited.
a wine member.
Subscribe, because I'm telling you, become a member, because it's very limited. And this is the Super Tuscan. I've got the 2020 here, Carissa J, and this is good stuff. So we're putting the pack together, and you can win a cheese and wine pack just in time for the holidays. Just please email your name and address to enter the contest. Say entering the contest there, and do it to OnPoint, ONPOINT, at crntalk.com. Corey, can we get that on the screen for our next show so we can actually put it up there? That'd be great. All right, now let's get into this thing. NFC breakdown. Let's go with this. Who's going to start off here? Vince, you kick it off, the NFC West breakdown.
Okay,
what do you see?
The Rams started off slow this year, 1-4, but now they're in the thick of things. They're 7-6. They won 6 out of their last 8 games. They beat, they beat Minnesota. They beat Buffalo Bills. Now the biggest game of the year is coming up against the 49ers this coming week. This is Week 15. This will decide, in my mind, who's going to emerge as the NFC West champion.
Really?
Because, the 49ers had a big win last week over the Chiefs. They blew the Chiefs out. I mean, Brock Purdy had 325 yards. Maybe they're back.
The Bears.
The Bears.
Over the Bears. I'm sorry.
Take
over
it
the
easy.
Oh, Chiefs.
Let's not
They
get
blew the Bears out. They blew the Bears out.
Yeah, the Bears. I'm
easier
sorry.
to
Thank
blow
you,
those
Jackie.
Bears out than the Chiefs.
That's true.
That's right.
They're not that far apart, but they are in athletic ability
Yes,
out what they're
exactly,
doing on the field. But I do see that. I see Seattle as the number 1 team right now,
In
but
the
they
West,
have the
right?
toughest schedule. So Arizona has the easiest schedule, but Arizona is
They're up
in
and
my
down,
mind,
right?
They're not the team. So Seattle, I love Mike McDonald, what he's doing. Where a lot of it's a coaching part.
But you don't like their quarterback. You don't like their quarterback, man.
Yeah, I know. I'm talking about Smith, and I'm just
Geno
Smith. I'm not a huge fan.
Why?
Because of fundamental breakdowns. Because of what you do, in getting the plays run, get them called, just operating and managing the game. It's a little different. I mean, he's throwing the ball. They probably lead the NFL in passing. But I'm telling you, I'm just not a big fan.
At when you watch a quarterback and when I watch a quarterback,
Yes.
it's not the same way he watches a quarterback.
He's been a quarterback.
He was telling me, and I don't think I've ever noticed it unless he pulled out early and officials flagged him. He was telling me that the quarterback's posture said that he was backing out of the pocket and getting ready to throw it because of the way he was leaning out.
See?
And I would never have noticed it if Vince didn't point it out, and that's exactly what he did.
So
at
the
that particular
posture,
time.
Vince, what is Jackie saying about it? The guy looks like he's leaning out of there or something. You can tell.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fundamental breakdown, really, Michael. It's just how how you manage the game, how you go about your business, and you really have to concentrate on fundamentals all the time. It's your stance under center. I mean, you have to be able to go get a quarterback sneak with 1 yard. You got to be able to get it. You're not going to be getting it backing up. Under center. Leaning. I'm talking about the lean.
But Vince, more importantly, you were saying no one's expecting for you to go for a quarterback sneak when you're backing out.
Right.
On third
So
and one.
it eliminates that potential play. So as a defense then reacts to a different type of play. They're a little bit more.
Okay, new point with you gentlemen here, because we watched the game. I'm a fan, right? You guys have played, and Jackie and Vince, you're watching. Yeah. But the great Fred Dreyer used to say the same thing during TV timeouts. He'd see how much time was in the huddle. If it was a long time, he knew it was going to be a pass. If it was in and out, it was going to be a run. And so this is the power that you guys have of observation. You're not looking in the fans to see who's there. You are looking at every little note, and that's what, as a quarterback, you've got your eye on what's going on.
It's the little things. Jackie. It's even selling the fake and being too quick for the delivery of the ball. So when you sell your fake, then you come out of the break, and then the guy's even more wide open, so you can deliver the ball on a timely fashion.
It's funny that you mentioned Fred. I know you guys do a show together, and you work with him. But it's funny you mentioned Fred Dreyer, because I remember Fred Dreyer and Jack Youngblood. They probably watched the quarterback. Those two guys in particular, over the 20 years that I played, they noticed what the quarterback was doing under center more than anyone else. I never even paid it any attention. But these guys were talking about what the quarterbacks were doing. So the point that Vince is making is very valid. That quarterback gives a lot of information out to defenses with the way he carries himself.
So I don't like
Cedric
Geno
Hardman
Smith
used to
now.
read the quarterback's lips. Remember,
Absolutely,
on one,
yeah.
on two.
Yeah.
I mean, he'd try to get the jump. So I mean,
I'm not a big fan of
anything.
Geno Smith now myself anymore. Let me ask you this: You're Italian. Is Geno Italian? Geno.
That's an Italian name. Sure.
I don't want to
Italian
say
name.
anything
But I
to
mean,
get myself in trouble with the Geno Smith family because that's Italian. But what?
But I do like Mike McDonald. I do like what he's done with this team. He's carried this team, and if he can put Geno in the right frame of mind, and they have the right mindset, who
Well, the
knows?
coach
They
should be
could go.
seeing this, shouldn't they, and work with him on this? Shouldn't the
Well-
team be working with him on it? If you're seeing this, the other experts should be seeing it, Jackie.
Yeah,
Something's gonna be done.
they're seeing it, and I'm sure someone is coaching him and talking to him about it along. But not only that, Geno has been around for a while. So some of the things that Vince is seeing that are negative, Geno probably has gotten to the point now where he's overlooking these things, and he's focusing on things that he probably had as liabilities to his game.
Yeah.
So, the guys need to remind him. They need to step up and remind him. Now, when I look at the NFC West, I know Vince is not a big Kyle Shanahan fan and all of that, but the San Francisco 49ers, to me, as long as they have Kyle Shanahan up there coaching, they're going to be in the thick of things.
They got injuries this year, right?
I know they got injuries, but they don't have
His
as many.
job is on the line.
They
this
don't
week,
have as many
Jackie.
injuries as the Detroit Lions.
I'm telling you, this
We got
week
a
it's
problem.
all about this week, right
This
here.
week,
Okay.
you
This
say
week.
his
It's
job.
It's all on this week.
Why? Why do you say that? He's got to
Because
win.
if they lose, they're out, Michael.
yeah.
They're out. I don't care if they got 20 guys on the injured list.
I
So
think
does
they're
Detroit.
I
They're
think they're
winning.
going to lose. I think they're going to lose to the Rams. I think one of the reasons why we saw the Rams have the slow start that they did this season, it wasn't because of the coaching. It wasn't because of the player that didn't have players that stacked up with comparable talent. It was because they were young. It was because all of these guys, they were probably the youngest team or the second youngest team in all of pro football. And I don't care how good you are coming out of college into the pros, you can walk up to the line of scrimmage and deal with an average offensive lineman or an average defensive lineman that's been around 5 or 10 years, and you're going to lose. Because the guy's got more tricks in his brain than just the physical stuff. This guy's going to beat you with everything he's got.
Tom Brady was saying that about Josh Allen. He's got a lot of tricks. That kind of thing. So you got a good quarterback, but you still got to have the coach. Is that what you're saying, to make things happen and get the spirit
Yeah,
of
you gotta
winning
have the coach.
in that
Certainly.
team?
And let's look at some of the quarterbacks that are having great years this year. You've got Sam Darnold with Minnesota. He's got
Right.
Kevin O'Connell. Okay, he's working with him.
And he's,
we
a,
talked about
and he's a
him.
quarterback guru.
Exactly, and he's made a big difference in what he's playing. And you got Justin Jefferson and Addison out there, both combo.
Yeah.
It's one of the best in the league.
They did something that hasn't been done since
Yeah.
Randy Moss and Carter as two receivers. I think they both
That's a long
caught
time ago.
2 touchdowns, both of them over 130 yards. That's never been done before. And this quarterback, Darnold, is being mentored by the guy that's been mentoring him ever since he came in the NFL.
Well, see, that's a big difference. A lot of trust and time built up in
And also
there.
you got Baker Mayfield, who I like his offensive coordinator. I like
But he was
Liam
not
Cohen.
good, and all of a sudden now he's there.
Well,
Offensive
Liam
coordinator
Cohen,
doing it for him?
Look what he's done. He really makes sense when he speaks, Michael. He engages with his players, okay? He talks about being clean when you run the offense, okay? Don't make mistakes, all right? He's talking about player over play, and that's what we're just talking about. Jackie said how slow the Rams started out. Now the players are starting to play over the plays that were called. The same plays were called at the beginning of the year they're called now, but they're starting to play better and balance. I mean, he believes in running the football and throwing the ball because it opens up your total offense. So
Yeah, but Vince,
I like this coach
I do
down the
too.
road.
And Vince, this guy has paid his dues. He's on the Rams coaching staff. He left the Rams coaching staff, went to Kentucky. And in the Kentucky's 105-year history, something like that, the 2 highest touchdown score in years, 51 and I think 50 touchdowns, came when he was the offensive coordinator there, Liam Cohen. So this guy is no run-of-the-mill offensive
So we're
coordinator.
talking coaching this week is a big deal. This is a brain trust we have
Todd
going here.
Bowles, Todd Bowles
Right.
lucked up on a gold mine when he landed Cohen.
Jackie Slater, Vince Ferragamo. Real quick, we're getting short on time. Eagles Steelers. That's a big game.
Yeah,
coming
we
up
just
this
look
week.
at that. Nick Sirianni's done a great job. Vic Fangio's come in, did a great job with this defense. They're running the best rushing team in the NFL, and they rank very high in defense as well against the rush. So there's 2 ingredients that comprise a winning football team. Okay, and so I also like what Mike Tomlin has done. With what he's done with Russell Wilson.
Absolutely.
Okay, he's
Amazing.
rejuvenated his career.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is like these are two top teams. 10-3,
Russell
11
Wilson's
and 2.
Both of their coaches, in my opinion,
That's a great game.
Both of their coaches are candidate for Coach of the Year.
They both are.
Russell Wilson's
Sirianni without his two
Kevin O'Connell,
both
too.
his
I mean, there's a
coordinators.
bunch.
Yeah,
There's a bunch out
of
there.
guys.
What
bunch of
they've
guys.
done with Russell Wilson's amazing. Still getting paid from a few different teams.
Wow,
and
he's
really
throwing the ball
doing it.
great on time, great touch to the ball, great deep
Great
throws.
leadership.
Yes, it's really coming together.
That's good. All right, we got a few more games to take care of here. This is pretty interesting here. Don't forget, enter our contest. Cheese package from Harmony Cheese and wine from Vince Ferragamo. Go to onpoint@crntalk.com. Put your name and address down there, your mailing address, phone number. We'll have your email when you mail it in to us. OnPoint, ONPOINT, at crntalk.com. OnPoint@crntalk.com. And follow us on our YouTube channel. Subscribe to On Point Live with Vince and Jackie and our main website, onpointlive.net. We'll be right back. Welcome back here to On Point Live. I'm Michael Horn along with Vince Ferragamo, Jackie Slater. Gentlemen, before we get right back into it here a little bit, Harmony Cheese for this season. This is cheese packs, things of that nature. Vince, you know these guys personally.
Yeah.
You've been there. You played in Green Bay, as a matter of fact, and ate a lot of cheese while you were there, from what I understood.
Yeah, Jerry Haynes is the owner of Harmony Cheese, and the Dairyland products. It's an amazing feat what they do and how they make their cheeses and how they assemble them and critique them. And so they, Jerry did have a restaurant there that we
did?
feature some of my wine, and it was
Really
great place to go. And
did he
spend
comp you
time.
when you were there, when you played on Green Bay?
Well, we had all the Green Bay wives out for a nice dinner. It was a really, really nice event. Super place.
You were buddies with Tommy Lasorda. I know, the late great Tommy.
yes, he was.
Tommy, he never paid for a meal in his life. Spark Anderson told
And
me
he had
when he
to
opens
have
his
his
wallet,
soup
moths
extra
fly out.
hot, because if the soup wasn't hot, he'd always
Gotta be
send
hot.
it back.
Exactly.
So, okay, you know.
So he a cheese fan too? He would love Harmony Cheese.
Tommy used to like any kind of Italian food,
He
especially
did.
if it involved cheese.
He did.
You introduced myself and Jackie Slater to it. Jackie, we mentioned your refrigerator, but you've gone nuts. You have now literally gone in your hometown, gone into places and asked
Absolutely.
for Harmony
Absolutely.
Cheese.
I
Correct?
asked them, where did they keep their Harmony cheese? And the guy looked at me and said, well, our cheese is over there. I said, I looked over there, but I didn't see the Harmony cheese. Where do you keep it? And so the guy scratched his head, and I believe it's going to be a very short period of time before they have it in there.
That's great. And by the way, you get it on the website, harmonycheese.com. You can order it. They can ship it anywhere in the country.
Right. I'm sending that. I'm going to
it?
send that to my family, some of my family back in Mississippi. So
I saw an
as
email
a
that
gift,
was
as a gift package.
You're
Great
right,
gift
something
package.
else. Very good. All right. So since you're talking about Harmony Cheese, big cheeses in coaching this year that we might have missed. We were talking about them. Who do you have on your list,
Well,
Jackie Slater?
First of all, I have so much respect for the men that coach. There's only 32 jobs. And that's a very difficult job, and you have to do so many things right to have success. And when I look at these playoff pictures, it never ceases to amaze me how the teams that are in the hunt for the playoffs and division championships and all that stuff are the guys that are doing the best job of managing their teams.
There you go.
I mean, take a look at Dan Campbell. The Detroit Lions are 12-1. Dan Campbell has 13 guys on injury reserve.
Jeez.
The next nearest team on injuries with injured players has only 6 players. They're 12-1 with 13 full-time starters out. Can you just think about that? And then you look at the Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles are 11-2 under Nick Sirianni. A lot of people were burying him because he lost his offensive coordinator, Shane Steichen, who's now the head coach of the Colts, and then he lost his defensive coordinator, Jonathan Gannon, who's now the head coach of the Cardinals. This guy is 11-2, losing those guys. So to pull his team together around new personalities with new schemes is a magnificent job to have to do. And this guy has done it as well as anybody.
It seems
and
like-
one last guy, I got to point this one
Yeah,
last guy out. Actually, that's 2 guys. Mike Tomlin.
Yeah,
We can't say enough about him,
Love
what
that
he's
guy.
done with Russell up there. But look at this guy, Mike McDonald at Seattle. This guy's the youngest head coach in all of pro football. in all of pro football, and he's got Seattle at 8-5 sitting right in the thick.
And he has to deal with Geno Smith at quarterback. He's out there. Go forward. Go forward. Right?
Well, I have to take
you have to take your
twist.
hat off to these guys and the jobs they're doing. As a former player, one of the things that I hated was to have a coach that I'm sitting there thinking, duh.
Yeah.
Tell us what we need to do here.
Yeah,
and
need a leader.
And they didn't. And I had 5 head coaches, and I can think of 2 in particular that were that way. I won't call their names.
Come on.
But I didn't feel like we had a snowball chance in Hades of winning the ball game with these guys at the helm.
We need to know. Now, you don't
Well, I'll
agree
take
with
a
his
different
coaching
twist.
picks?
No, I do. I think they're all
But you
legitimate.
got a different look at this.
But I have a different look because I think one of the most critical positions, obviously, on a football
What is it? What would
is
that
the
be?
quarterback.
Really?
Okay.
Vince
But
Ferragamo.
when you acquire a new quarterback on your team to be in contention, to be in the playoffs, that's a remarkable trait. And so that takes a qualified coach to handle that. Okay, there's a couple of them. Okay, there's Kevin O'Connell with Minnesota's taking Sam Darnold. Okay, number 1. He's up. He's like second in the NFC North. All right? Doing a great job with that quarterback.
Absolutely.
Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh took Russell Wilson, who was slipping in oblivious. He took him in that team, and he's made something.
Yep.
Okay, with this guy, he's brought his back to where he can really play good football. And so those 2 coaches, I think, Todd Bowles deserves some credit too for
Yes,
taking
he
Baker
does.
Mayfield and what they were able to do. They're in the thick of things. They'll probably end up winning the NFC South. So, I mean, these coaches are definitely – so there's a lot of coaches that are up for the coach of the
one
year.
point I want to make here, just my thought, because I'm not a player, I watch. And you're talking about it, and I see that certain teams are stealing offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators from the Sean McVays all over the place. If I were Sean McVay or Tomlin or any of these great coaches you mentioned, I'd hire some real duds as offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator with the other teams in the league going like, oh, that guy must be great. And they have him. And the next thing you know, he's head coach of a team and the whole team falls apart. Yeah. What do you think of that strategy?
I believe that's one of the quickest ways to get fired.
That's right. You'll be gone before you
all
know
of
it.
the
right,
You better
if
get
you hire a coach
coaches.
in the National Football League, he better know what he's doing, and he better be he better be able to interact with his players.
Forget what I said, Chief. I know you listen to the show for tips. I was trying to give you
goodness.
All right, a couple of games that we did not get to in the last segment here. Colts Broncos. What do you think this weekend? Jackie, start with you.
Well, I mean, it's hard not to like the Denver Broncos. Sean Payton has a young quarterback. He's playing really well. His defense has been his defense has just come out of nowhere. That really rugged, physical group of guys at the line of scrimmage that backers can cover and can hit. They can run. I'm telling you, this is a unique defense that they've put together with a lot of special pieces. And now, he's Bo Nix is starting events to round out. You like this
Bo
guy, right?
Nix,
Well,
2 words, and you love the guy.
Yeah,
don't
both
you?
those teams had a bye last week, so now they're coming back. Sean Payton is another one of those coaches
There
that
you go.
have taken a rookie quarterback, and so has Dan Quinn down in Washington. And those are remarkable feats for 2 coaches to take a rookie quarterback and put them in the playoffs. In his first year, that's amazing. And so I like the Broncos. I like the Broncos in this game. I think they're playing better football around. I think they have the better defense. And, they're getting after people. So
Bills Lions, that game coming up this weekend. Buffalo's got to come back. The Lions are doing well.
They're playing in Detroit. So I like, Player of the Year, MVP, Jared Goff. I think he's the leading candidate at this point. Having a super year. His toughness is amazing, the way he's throwing the football. I mean, he's got a personnel all around him.
His efficiency.
And Jackie, they got Gibbs, they got Montgomery. They're running the ball like crazy.
They got an offensive line.
They'll out physical you at the line of scrimmage.
Top
defense.
offensive line, knocking people off the ball.
Dan Campbell, another
back.
great coach, tough coach.
I mean, the Detroit Lions are a very, very talented team from positionally all the way across both sides of the ball, but they've got a master motivator in their head coach.
I like the Lions because if the Bills come in unprepared like they did last week, they're going to get blown out by the Detroit Lions. I'll tell you that right now.
Time for 2 of our favorite segments on the On Point Live show. Let's start with Vince Ferragamo here. You'd rather be lucky than good. What do you have for us
I'd
this
rather
week?
be lucky than good any day. I'm going to tell you the Chiefs played a game against the Chargers.
Yes.
The Chargers had that. And Jim Harbaugh, I give him a lot of credit as well. He's done remarkable turnaround for this team. They are in the thick of things right to the end of these games. And for the Chiefs to drive the ball down, of course, the miraculous Patrick Mahomes to Kelsey, it was an amazing play. To get the first down, they run the clock down. But the kicker, Now, he's a backup kicker. He's not even the first-string kicker. They got him off the streets. So he comes in, and he kicks, hits the left upright, and it goes through the uprights to win the game. They could have lost the game. So they find another way to win games. And I'm not saying, hey, I'd rather have luck on my side too. But they're as good as they are, but they are.
Didn't the refs
getting
move
lucky
the
at
post
the right
a little bit for them when that kick came in? They kind of
They moved it a little bit.
Yeah,
No,
don't
they're
expect to get that from the
They're
refs
playing
either.
in
when you come
Arrowhead
to-
Stadium. What do you expect?
All right, Jackie Slater, your feature that we have every week. What in the world?
What in the world? What in the world? And I got to ask that question to my compatriot right here. Vince Ferragamo has this thing in his head that Kyle Shanahan needs to go.
Yeah.
Kyle Shanahan of the San Francisco 49ers need to go. He doesn't value him as the coach like I value him.
They've stolen a lot of his
He's too
stats, right?
complacent, Jackie. He's getting complacent.
If Kyle Shanahan is released from the San Francisco 49ers, the happiest person in the United States of America is going to be Sean McVay. Because Sean McVay knows that this guy is a good coach and he has to do everything he can to match wits with this guy, game in and game out. Their general manager, John Lynch, he dismisses this whole call for Kyle Shanahan's head by laughing at the notion that people think that they should get rid of. I mean, think about it though, Vince. The guy has 4 of the last 5 division championships. The San Francisco 49ers have won. They've been to 2 Super Bowls under this guy.
What have you done for me lately, Jackie?
They didn't win the Super Bowl, but they've been to 2 Super Bowls. He's taken Mr. Irrelevant.
They haven't won a Super Bowl, Jack.
Vince, he's got Mr. Irrelevant as his starting quarterback.
Yeah, he was 325 yards, throwing 80% of his completions last week. That was pretty darn good.
That is pretty good for Mr. Irrelevant, who's not even making $10 million a year.
And didn't have Christian McCaffrey in the backfield.
Absolutely. So this guy is a good coach, and if they were to make the mistake to let this guy leave San Francisco, he'd be gobbled up. And we'd probably be surprised at some of the people who would be fired to be able to bring him in.
Well, I'm rooting for the Rams, so here we go.
Yeah,
the Rams, they got to let him go so we can win some games.
Well, I'm telling you, I like a fly on the wall. We are, as listeners here and viewers, flies on the wall with you two going at it. Let me throw one out at you in our few 3 minutes here we got left in the segment. Raiders have lost 9 straight. What do you think? Is there hope for them?
Well, Pierce is doing everything he can. I mean, I like him. I like him as a coach, but they don't have a quarterback.
Yeah.
They don't have a quarterback.
Joe Namath
You
available?
can't win in this league without a
What
quarterback.
about Joe Namath? He's been
Joe Namath can
Medicare-
come back right now and do a better job than those guys can do
Medicare
out there.
enrollment is over. We could
Come
get
on,
Joe
maybe
back.
you
Jackie,
go out there.
Maybe you
Get
should
my man
bring
out there.
Vince in. Bring Vince in. I think he's got a couple more games left.
Vince, I think you both could get
on,
back in
Raiders.
there.
Yeah.
All right,
Not
what
me.
what about
else?
you mentioned Sam Darnold, the resurgence of Sam Darnold,
Oh, wow.
Baker Mayfield, Russell Wilson, all on different teams. Again, coaching, right?
Coaching has a lot to do with it. I
Coaching
think,
has-
Jackie, they're
coaching-
playing. Look what they're doing. Okay, they're balancing their offenses, these teams. And they're taking advantage of it because now these guys are stepping in and just making things happen. And Kevin O'Connell is just calling some plays you wouldn't believe. And Sam Darnold is doing it.
Yes.
He's doing it.
Okay, Jackie Slater, let me have you have your say. Running backs. What about Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley? Let's go down these.
Well,
Jahmyr Gibbs,
there's a
Josh
group-
Jacobs.
Let me put it to you this way. There's about 12 or 13 300-plus pound men in this country, all over this country, who were a part of the 1984 single-season rushing record with the Los Angeles Rams. And I'm talking about all of their offensive linemen who are sitting and watching very closely this young man at Philadelphia right now. Eric Dickerson's has had that record in place for 40 years, and we've all sat there as offensive linemen and been so proud of our work. But this guy is threatening that record at this point in time, and I don't, if he stays healthy and he gets it, God bless him. Records are meant to be broken. But for us, if he doesn't get the 2,105 yards and beyond, there's about 13 300-pound men around the United States that's going to have a glass of wine and say,
He's 7 yards shy of
One
breaking it,
more
Jackie.
year.
He needs 119 yards on average the last 4 games.
That's it. You think it's going to happen?
It's a possibility.
Stay healthy.
It's a possibility.
Yeah, if he stays healthy.
Don't forget,
They're going to give him the ball.
enter
He's
our
got a great
contest.
offensive line, too.
Harmony Cheese, Vince Ferragamo wine packs. Go and give us your name, address, onpoint@crntalk.com. onpoint@crntalk.com. Check out our website. These guys post things there all the time. Jackie's Harmony Cheese videos up there, onpointlive.net. Follow us, by the way, on our YouTube channel. Subscribe to On Point Live with Vince and Jackie, and you can check us out again at our email, onpoint@crntalk.com. And don't forget to go to crntalk.com. We love to see you, too. We'll be right back. It's On Point Live. Don't go away. We're back on Point Live. Thanks to our sponsor, Harmony Cheese. Go to their website, Harmony, HARMONY, Cheese, CHEESE.com. I'm Michael Horn with Vince Ferragamo and Jackie Slater. Let's talk women's basketball. Jackie Slater, lead it off.
Well, you know, I'm a big basketball enthusiast. I played basketball in high school. It was my favorite sport. In fact, if I had been a little bit taller, I never would have played it down in football. And so I'm infatuated with the game, and I've just so enjoyed Caitlin Clark, watching her play and all of her dynamics. She is such a special person, special player, and she's doing so much for the game of basketball for women.
Right.
But there's another young lady
This year, right?
Yeah,
Another,
there's another in the WNBA. But there's another young lady that's in her sophomore year at USC. Her name is Juju Watkins. Have you heard of her?
Heard about her, yes.
Last year,
Hey,
as a
Vince,
freshman.
Vince, she had a 40-point game.
Oh, yeah.
Vince,
She's good.
against Cal Baptist, she went 9 threes. She hit 9 threes, Vince. This young lady can shoot the ball like from anywhere. And when you watch her, that ball comes out of her hand, it looks just like Michael Jordan.
Can she do a double-double, triple-double? She will get to that point, I
Well,
bet.
she's
With her
headed that way,
rebounds,
but all her numbers are
assists.
decent. She had 3 blocks, so she plays defense. She stole. She had 1 steals and 1 assist. She's
getting there.
6 rebounds. She's playing. She's an all-around player that likes to shoot and can shoot.
You know, Jackie, I watched a lot of women's basketball because, you know, my wines, Caressa J, Cara, Vanessa, and Jenna, named after my 3 daughters.
Absolutely.
They played collegiate sports. Vanessa played at Vanderbilt in
Played
the SEC.
basketball, of course.
Basketball. I watched more women's basketball when she was there than I watched football.
Right,
Okay,
right.
so-
And I played
makes
on
you
the
appreciate
KRLA radio all-star basketball team against the Penthouse Pets. And I got a breakaway. They threw the ball to me, and I ran down the field, and no one's near me, and I threw the ball up.
Yeah.
And it didn't go in.
Well-
and I threw it up again
Well, see, the
at
problem-
the forum, and it didn't go in.
See,
And
the
on the
problem
third
is
one,
you
it
were
went in.
throwing it instead of shooting it.
You got to shoot,
what they
Mike,
told me.
You know?
All right, that's our
gotta
show,
shoot it.
everybody. We'll leave it at that. We got every week at this
Oh,
time.
boy.
Check us out at our website, onpointlive.net. That's where you want to go, onpointlive.net. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, On Point Live with Vince and Jackie. Instagram, on.point.live. Harmony Cheese is our sponsor, harmonycheese.com. Enter our contest, Vince's Wine, Harmony Cheese Package. You got to give us your name, address, email it to onpoint@crntalk.com, onpoint@crntalk.com. Check out crntalk.com and our YouTube channel there too, CRN Digital Talk. For Jackie Slater, for Vince Ferragamo, I'm Michael Horn. We'll see you next week on Point Live.